Yes, the invites are out. It's your turn to intro.
I know it is. We're on episode 8, aren't we?
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, at least we've got 2 people. I can hear that music. Right, intro.
Your audio's going out.
Good afternoon. Hello and welcome to the first edition, but number 8. No, it's the first edition. It's the first edition live of Tales from the Ohm with me, SoulOhm, and BFG Steve. Hello, everybody. You all right, Steve?
Yeah, fabulous, wonderful, marvellous. No technical issues on this side. Not at all. No.
Hello, everybody. Right, we're going live. We thought instead of doing just the podcasting as normal, we thought we'd actually go live on YouTube. Unfortunately, at the present moment, the sound-wise, we're having a little technical difficulty with Steve, bless him. He sounds like his head's in a bucket, but please bear with. Hello, everybody in chat. We've got Ryan Braces, Chris, Bill, and we got Timmy. And Bill again. Awesome. You all right there, dude?
Fabulous, mate. Fabulous. It could be far. Oh, stop pulling.
I can't help it. It hurts my ears when you start shouting at me.
I'm not shouting. I was just talking.
So the sound's not too bad. Oh, that's good. That's good. So, yeah. Right, I can chill out now.
Yeah. Can we? Mm-hmm.
Hi, Gav. Yeah, we can chill out. Yeah, let's relax.
Good afternoon to everybody in chat, by the way. Sorry. I'm having a little hitty fit, darlings. Don't worry about it.
Oh, you're not kidding. Oh, bless. Oh, well, it's YouTube. It's live. We get these technical issues. So
it was never going to go well, was it? Bill, you're right. I do need my red smoking jacket. I want something to stroke and be comforted by.
Oh, bless you. So I can't believe it. It's Sunday already.
I know. Where did the week go?
I know. I just can't get over it. I'm gobsmacked.
Mike, Thursdays. Always love my Thursdays. Really enjoyed this week's. It was a cracker.
Yeah, it was a good show. I really enjoyed it. It was nice to have the full team as well.
Oh, it was. If you've not caught the service, get yourself over to Mark's channel, where we are now. And once we've finished, go on, be polite. Once we've finished, check out the home service, because it was an absolute corker last week.
It really was. I enjoyed it. Right, good giggle. So, what does everybody think to the outlay? Are we all happy with that one? Can you see everyone all right? I think we've got chat big enough there, and the logos, and I designed that new logo at the bottom there. Yeah, I think it's looking all right. That quite chuffed. So, dude, what are you vaping on?
Oh, right. Well, I've been rummaging in my drawers, and I found this.
And that's what she said.
Oh, yeah. Sigeli, Fuchai 213.
Oh, blooming heck. Do you know something? I've never had one of them.
Cracking. Cracking. This was...
Thanks, Bill.
Blimey. What was this one? This was probably the second or third mod I ever bought.
Mm-hmm.
Amazon special. On top of that is the Bombertech Vape Fly.
Oh, nice one.
With some basics, registering. It's very nice.
Registering.
Right, I've not tried registering. I'm thinking, what's this then? And it's very, very tasty. Suicide Queen, and that's got the Druger on top.
Very nice.
Very nice. That's got the last dribbles of the Lick remixed drip dabbing, which is a lemon sherbet. Not as shiny as she was last week, but the Blood Axe with the drop dead on top, and that's got the duty-free lemon tea, again, down to the last few dribbles of that. And finally, the big boy build. I enjoyed it so much on Thursday, I thought, right, that's the M1 Pro, and that's got the Steam Crave RDSA on top, with the Nova Vapes Banana Milk.
Awesome.
And one last one, did I do the VK? VK Flash.
No, you did. No.
With the Fugly on top. And that's got the Mr. Cafe Caramel Latte.
I did like that. I'm going to have to get some. We're going to have a bro trip to that shop.
Oh, too, right. I mean, I was actually thinking about bobbing across there tomorrow, so if you want some picking up, give me a shout.
I want to go myself. I want a bro trip.
Go for it then. We shall have a bro trip.
Yeah, we'll have a bro trip. Go there. Because I've decided, it's obviously last week was Jan and mine's anniversary, and Jan wanted to buy me something for me anniversary present. And I've always wanted an X-Ohm. Always wanted one.
All right.
And I've never had one. And I've always wanted one. And I do believe TVS are selling them at the present moment, the V3s. So I just want something, just a box standard black. I'd like either a black or a green. A green would be really, yes. But a black.
Uh-huh.
Rachel, hello.
Oh, hello, Rachel. You all right, love?
All right, love. How you doing there, Mary Poppins?
I really must adjust this rubber band.
But yeah, so I'm going to get me sent. I've always wanted one. I like basic mods, me. I'm not into your menu systems and things like that. If I'm going to have a regulated mod, I like, like the VVE.
Yeah.
The VEE or V. Yeah.
V.
The potentiometer.
Yeah, it's the V.
Yeah.
Or the MVV. Yeah. Ooh.
I like that kind. What?
150 quid.
Yep.
That's the one. And
I think even at Expo, who's selling them now? Evolution. Even at Expo, there was 130 something.
Blimey.
Oh, they're not cheap. That's why I've never bought one.
They're nice though. I mean, and you can get a range of buttons from the looks of it.
Yeah. So that's how I'm going to treat myself.
Ooh. You do know how to make yourself feel good, don't you, dear boy? So speaking of making yourself feel good, what's on your buffet?
On my buffet, UK Vapester, good afternoon to you, sire. Right, this weirdo, best we're calling it a weirdo. What do you think of that? Now, this looks a little bit more blue on the screen. It's not, it's green. It's like a egg. Is it egg?
Duck egg blue.
Yeah. It's that colour. It's weird. This is the Helix from Digiflavor. Comes with its own tank, which is one of them disposable mesh coils. But it's got a little trick up its sleeve. It actually holds an 18650, which, yeah, it's very, very cheap. But the flavour that I'm getting off this tank is absolutely brilliant. It really is good. I've got to admit, it is good. I can't fault it. And in that, I've got 21 Vapes Queen of Hearts, which is cherry drops.
Ooh.
And it is rather nice. Needed to be steeped, though, this one. I tried it when I just put my nick in first, and it was a bit... overpowering and a little bit harsh. So I've left it for just over a week, and that has really calmed down. So yeah, really nice. And obviously I got it in that, and the flavour of this one is brilliant. Really impressed with it. Review will be coming up Wednesday. What else have I got? I'm vaping on Stan.
Hello, Stan.
Hello, Stan. This is Stan. Pleased to meet you. Stan, audience. Audience, Stan. Hello, Stan. This is Stan. Fancy calling a pod system Stan. Now, had been playing with this one again. Review will be coming out of this tomorrow, and I actually do like it. It's not bad. Now, the first pod that I put in this one, I was getting juice in the mouth. The second pod that I've put in, I've had not a problem whatsoever. So, yeah. Nice little pod system. In that, I've got Ocean Escape, which is a 50-50 from Luxury Vapes. And it's got a champagne and peach flavour. So it's a bit like a peach snaps type flavour going off.
You've gone posh.
Champagne.
Champagne.
Darling, me in a girl's dormitory at 12 o'clock at night with my reputation.
Well, of course, we were very drunk.
So yeah, not the best pod system in the world, but it's not bad. So review coming up with that later on. I've also got the Slide with the Coolfire Ultra, which I am enjoying. 4,000 mAh battery. Just before anybody complains. 4,000.
Don't know what you're talking about.
4,000. And what have I got in that? I've got Pod Salt Black Currant Menthol, which is really, really nice.
Oh, I like that one. That's such a swish-looking setup, though.
I love it. Honestly, absolutely. I mean, I'm not a big mouth-to-lung fan anyway, but yeah, this, I'm well impressed, especially the Slide. And also, I am on the PAL 2, the re-version of it, with the posh panels. But it's also, I never realised that on the old one, they didn't have this hole here so you could see your juice level. So yeah, that's really nice. I do like this. Ended up going to Meadowall yesterday and I took this with me. And this lasted me all day.
Blimey.
I know. I was gobsmacked. The batteries are brilliant on this. And it's only something like 1,000, just over 1,000 mAh battery in this. So, quite impressed. IVC, hello kiddo. Hope you're all well. Finally, but not leastly... Now we're talking. This is the Jab 4 from Immortal Mods, and I absolutely love it.
I'm not jealous. Not jealous at all.
This is awesome. In that, I've got my own brewed lemon. Got to have it in there. It's absolutely brilliant. It's got the Revenant deck from Armageddon. MG.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's the bottom deck is the Armageddon part.
Nice.
Really enjoying it. Permanent contact button, switch. Yeah, love it to pieces. Fully copper, and it's the blue and black splatter. Just love that one. Review will be coming up that in a couple of weeks.
Bill, was that about the Pulse 2, the design by Tony B? Because I think it is, isn't it?
The what, sorry?
The Pulse. Isn't that designed by Tony B?
The Pulse?
Yeah, the little pod you took to Meadowall.
No, that's... Oh, yeah.
Sorry, the Palm.
The PAL. PAL 2,
PAL.
Tony B, yeah, Tony B.
It is nice to see, though, that it looks like they've taken any criticism that they got on board and then tried to improve it.
The only downside I've got with this at the present moment is the door is slidey. But all I've done is put a piece of paper, a very thin piece of paper on the inside. That's all it is.
Life hacks.
And for some reason, because I put that piece of paper in, it stopped moving completely. So it must be that this has got the 3mm tank. So I'm wondering if the 3mm tank is just slightly too big for the actual box. You know, to make it not even, to sit in even. So that's what's making it move. But it's a really thin piece of paper. Just a strip. Just put that on the top and it stopped it completely. So yeah, loving it.
Very nice.
And that's it. That's what I'm vaping on. Drink wise, obviously, zero Coca-Cola.
I forgot to do mine, didn't I?
Well, what are you drinking on? I bet it's coffee.
Coffee.
Cart door. Oh,
Cart door.
Cart door.
Right, let's see who's joined. Rachel sounds like she's in serious pain with swollen feet.
Oh dear.
Ryan's is scaring me with the description of his operations and screws through his ankle.
Oh yeah, that's yeah.
Dear God, that sounds horrible. Oh, Rachel's about to throw a toddler tantrum. Can we invite her in? I want to see this. And I want to see if her hissy fit's as good as mine, darling. That's all. One can't spare.
Bill says he's very posh. He only has fresh coffee.
That's not posh. That's an addiction. I know. I'm there.
Yeah, we're terrible for it, aren't we?
Oh, bad news. Did you see the recent article from the Daily Mirror?
No, I haven't.
Apparently, if you drink black coffee, you're more prone to be a psychopath.
I drink black coffee.
I know.
That's
why. Apparently, it's all to do with the taste buds. If you prefer bitter flavours, apparently Rachel's saving her temper tantrum for the doctors. Bless her. She wants this foot fixed. With bitter flavours, there's something about the psychopathic character, if you will, that seems to prefer it.
Bill's a psychopath.
Bill, I've got visions of Lycra now. No!
Yeah, but the thing is, though, you know what Bill's going to look like, don't you? Cycle pants, a rock t-shirt, and his big cowboy hat.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not going to get that image out of my head.
No, there's not enough bleach. Apparently Rachel outposhes us all. She has a Dolce Gusto machine.
Yes, well, I've got one of them. I know I've got one of them.
Yeah, you've got the Dolce Gusto. It's what you got at work, isn't it?
Yes.
Posh person, you.
Yeah.
Oh, we forgot Bill's new rocks.
All right. There you go.
Oh,
well, saying that, on about tastes, I also... obviously, I like black coffee. Now, originally, I used to have... When I was younger, it was sort of like 2 sugars, white, like most people. Then, obviously, what with diabetes, and it took me probably about a fortnight to get used to black coffee. And I've been black coffee for about 5 years now. But I also like dark chocolate as well.
Now, that's something that's crept up on me as I've got older. Because I can't do white chocolate anymore. It's just way too sweet.
Oh, I can do white chocolate.
No.
I can do any chocolate.
So, for those listening to the podcast, Orion's has just popped up, joined in our conversation on posh people and their various devices, and apparently Alan's about as grounded as they get because he's got a kettle.
I don't believe he's got a kettle. I think he still uses a saucepan on the gas stove.
Oh, bless. And apparently Rachel would have loved a proper coffee machine, but she just didn't have the kitchen space. She went for the dishwasher instead.
Well, yeah, I can understand why you had a dishwasher. Yeah.
No, you can't call yourself a coffee addict until you give up the dishwasher.
Saying that, you could always get an urn. Do you remember them big
No.
urns from when you used to go to church
Oh,
or something
wow.
like that? They used to have them massive big silver urns with hot water. Yeah.
5 gallon urn with little plastic tap at bottom.
Yeah. Oh, I wonder if they still do them.
Oh, they do. Yeah, we still use them.
That's what you want. Instant coffee, that's what we need. Coffee, and more coffee.
I used to work at a place at Borough, and we actually opened up that urn one day. Instead of just sort of filling it up, we actually took a look inside to see what had built up. Oh. Don't do it. It wasn't nice.
I've got to admit that I love my coffee. I really do. A nice cup, especially that one first thing in the morning.
Rachel's made a confession. There would never be clean dishes, and with 4 kids, the dishwasher won. Yeah, that's female logic for you, mate. I'd have gone for the coffee machine.
Yeah.
And apparently they sell them at Costco.
There you go.
So you can have your tank.
What you'll have to do is buy them big bulk bags of coffee. Just pour it in the urn with the water. Instant coffee all the day.
I think the word you're looking for there is cement mixer.
Yeah.
Oh, bless. Right.
Well, have you got any news?
I did find an interesting one.
I noticed that one that you put up on Facebook about a billion lives.
The Billion Lives.
The documentary about vaping and their...
Yeah, that was an interesting one. Apparently Facebook have deemed that the Billion Lives documentary is not fit for discussion on Facebook. Their reason being that it promotes nicotine, which I thought was a bit crazy, really. Now, whether they're running scared of the FDA and the various issues that are going off at the minute with data protection and various taxes, etc., I don't know, but it seems a very, very weak argument not to actually discuss that documentary. I mean, what's your thoughts on it?
Well, me personally, it doesn't matter. That's sort of like human rights, surely. You should be allowed to I mean, let's face it, you can talk about coffee, you can talk about beer on Facebook, you can talk about what you had for dinner, you can talk about everything that you can think of on Facebook. I mean, there's within reason, I mean, as long as it's got nothing to do with children, pets and whatever, and a sexual nature, then yeah.
Yeah. I just find it very, very strange. There has to be a very good reason in their eyes from not to allow it.
I mean, what about all the groups? I mean, what about all these? I mean, I've got a group. I'm a member of many, many groups that are all to do with vaping. So what are they going to do? Are they going to start not allowing vape groups?
I think if we were going to see that, we would have seen it already.
So it seems to be a bit off then, doesn't it? It's sort of like one rule for one rule for the other.
Bill's just pointed out Sleazy posts his guns on Facebook. So, yeah. But I just can't get my head around it. I know they're an American-based firm, but, you know.
Do you think it's one of those knee-jerk reactions?
Quite possibly. I mean, the problem is that with the States at the minute, everything just seems to have gone completely OTT. Yeah, we've got the NNA and what's the other one? And the other UK trade organisation, UKVIA.
UKVIA.
Yeah, I mean they're the WHO are sort of targeting them as if they were some sort of, big tobacco firm. The world just doesn't seem to be making sense at the minute.
I've got to admit, Bill's just mentioned it in the chat there, that the actual film's been out for yonks. In fact, I would say, I remember when it came out, it was very, very similar. I think it's the similar guys that are doing that Do You Know Nicotine? I think it's virtually the same guys that's doing it. But if I remember right, 1 Billion Lives was splattered all across the internet and everything, and especially on social media, to help promote this film. And then they went off starting premiering in cinemas and things like that. And from the outside of it, it sounded like a really good idea, but I've never seen it, and unless you're going to pay silly amounts of money, you're not going to see it anyway.
So what's the harm in discussing it then?
Exactly. So unless you're very, very privileged to be able to actually find a cinema that's actually going to show it, and I don't think it's been seen in this country. I don't think so. And yeah, so and like Bill said, what we've been out for a few years, probably the actual data that they're actually coming out with is now out of date.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's been various studies recently in the last 6 months. While it's rehashed older data, it has corrected some of the errors, hasn't it? So,
it was a very odd way of going about the film in the first place, because I remember rightly, I mean, don't get me wrong, I could be totally wrong here, but there was sort of like wanting premieres, and they was charging a fortune to actually go and see it.
Well, there's something very strange going off here, because there is actually a Billion Lives group on Facebook.
Yeah, there's one on Twitter and everything.
Yeah, and you can still access it. So there's something strange here.
So unless it's just the actual film that you can't discuss, but that seems a bit weird, no?
Well, I'm beginning to wonder whether there's a little fake news springing up to rekindle interest, given the new film coming out.
Very strange. I wonder what they're going to be doing, because obviously they're making the new film, aren't they? Is it called Do You Know Nicotine?
It's something like that. Yeah. I couldn't say for definite.
But yeah, it's like what Bill said again. Nobody would distribute it. So that's the problem. Unless there was wanting so much money for it. I don't know. So it seemed to be a very wasted effort, to be honest with you, if nobody's going to see it.
I think, to be honest, something like that, as long as a handful of people have seen it, because once you get word of mouth starting, your message starts spreading, and that's the joy of social media. I know there's clips and things.
Yeah, Smurf says right. You don't know nicotine.
Oh, good stuff. Cheers, Smurf.
But again, is that going to be just for the exclusive people that's going to be able to actually see it? So, again, if it's going to be a film like that, like not Blowing Smoke and all them lot, Not 1 Billion Lives, whatever it's called, if people aren't going to see it, what's the point of it? And you want the mass people to see it. It's not people like you and me and people that are in chat that's already been converted. We know all about the ins and outs of vaping. It's the people that don't know about vaping, that have still got this crazy idea about vaping and how bad it is, and they think it's worse than or as bad as having traditional cigarettes and things like that. So
you mean 97% of the American population?
Well, it's not just. I mean, it's even but it's even in this country. There was a girl on. I forget what program it was. I saw a clip on it on Facebook, and this one girl was wanting to ban it from vaping outside. She thought it was a good idea. Oh yeah, it's so like this naivety that vaping's only new. We don't know what's really in them. We don't know the long-term effects. And she says we ought to be actually thinking on on being cautious about vaping. We shouldn't be promoting it as much because we really don't know. And it's like I was screaming at the blooming screen saying, yes, we do, but it's still in the majority's mindset that we don't know what's in it. We don't know the long term. We don't know this, that, and the other, and we actually do. So,
Well, that sort of thinking leads to, well, we should ban cars then.
oh God, yeah.
Because of the pollution, yeah. Well, what do we do? Do we all go back to bikes or do we all go back to horses? I mean, the wife would be happy with horses.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I mean...
Yeah, my friend Carla would be.
I can't think she'd be too chuffed if I nick her nag so that I can get myself off to work. But
Well, when you think about it, Bill, yes, you have probably eaten everything that's ever been in an e-cigarette. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, that's one of the arguments, isn't it? You know, these things aren't meant to be inhaled.
Yeah.
You know, well, hold on, hot food. What do you think's coming off that? Yeah.
Yeah, but no one complains when they're at nightclub, do they?
Oh, no.
Nobody complains. No, nobody bats an eyelid when they're at nightclub and they're getting it all this and there's that smoke. Oh, it's cool and the lights. Yeah, that smoke is the same stuff. Virtually.
Oh, you're getting
Go, it's
a bit
passive.
busy
It's passive smoking. Oh, no, you don't mind that when you're boogieing down there, strutting your stuff.
Yeah. To be fair, though, you have probably necked a few pints of lunatic soup before hitting the nightclub, haven't you? I mean, come on.
Yeah.
No, Timmy, don't bring up the methane and the horses. No, I've got to live with her afterwards. Enough about your disco days. Oh, if you're listening to the podcast, you're missing some John Travolta moves at their finest.
Oh, bless. Right, I don't want to be miserable today. It's Sunday. We want to be happy, happy, happy. Right, got to talk about it. So got to talk about it. Good Omens.
Oh, have we?
We've got to talk about it because I watched the final episode on Friday and yeah, I loved the series completely. Absolutely brilliant.
Did you? I mean, I'm hoping everybody in chat's seen it as well. If you haven't, treat yourself, honestly. Oh, Rachel hasn't. Oh, bless her.
Oh, dear.
Oh, right, we're going to have to do this without spoilers, kid.
It's going to be fun.
It's going to be difficult. I can say one thing. They have the flavour. Neil Gaiman has distilled the flavour and the feel of the book and condensed it into 6 episodes.
I want a series.
What, further adventures?
Yeah. I think because you've got both them two characters, you could carry that on a lot further. There's such a world created there.
Oh, there is. I mean, I would love to see more of Pratchett's Discworld. You know, they've already done it with David Jason with the first 2 films.
But David Tennant and Martin Sheen. Is it Martin Sheen? Michael Sheen. I always want to call him Martin. I wonder why.
Professionals.
I just
Martin
think...
Sheen, innit? Curly hair. Capri. Bodie and Doyle. That was Martin Sheen.
Who's the ones out of... whatchamacallit? Emilio Estevez's brother. Oh, that's Charlie Sheen, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, Charlie, yes. That paragon of virtue.
See, I don't see where the brain was coming from. But no, if you get it back, you've got the 2 characters, and I think them 2 played them perfect.
They did. I was very interested to see how they depicted the friendship, because in the TV series, there appeared to be a little more than friendship there.
Do you think so? Come away.
Yeah, I think it was. There were some heavy hints dropped at a potential relationship there.
I'm naive. I never thought about things like that.
Really?
Yeah. No. I mean, yes, all right. Mr. Sheen was a little bit more camper than. Well, saying that, both of them were pretty
Exactly.
campish, weren't they? Yeah. When you stop and think about it, yeah. But I enjoyed it. I loved the camaraderie between them both.
Oh
It was
yeah.
just
Well,
so clever.
they've been on Earth since the beginning, so that sort of fraternal bond, was
Cheers,
was
Lloyd.
going to be there. I mean, to be honest, the cast in general, you couldn't have got a better list of A-listers for that.
No, it was brilliant, absolutely. But there was a credit for Bill Cox. What am I thinking of?
Bill Nighy.
No, Cox. Oh,
Cox.
what's his? Yeah, Cox. My brain's gone dead now.
Brian Cox.
Brian Cox. Yeah. What character did he play?
Wasn't he the Metatron? Voice of God.
Was it?
Sure he was. Hold on. Just bear with me. I'm just Google through it. Brian Cox, Metatron. Let us have a look.
Even down to the actual intro, I thought that was brilliant. Very, very Monty Python-y, very...
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
High grade
it
vapor.
here we go. Brian Cox was the voice of death.
Ah, there you
There
go.
we are.
Yeah, I thought the reimagination of the Four Horses of the Apocalypse was clever.
Oh, they cut out quite a large part of the book on that because there's the four other riders of the apocalypse, which are basically a group of Hell's Angels they meet in a motorway services, because that's where all the riders meet up in the first place.
Yeah.
And you've got some great names, so you've got War, Death, Famine, etc. And then you've got Pig Bog, who decides he wants to be the rider of things that still don't work even when you clumped them really hard. Absolutely brilliant. But I mean, obviously, you've only got so long to do these things. So you have to pick and choose what you're going to cut out. So there were some little gems that have gone.
Yeah, I don't think they needed to get rid of it, because what were them doing in a series? I mean, all right, yeah, there's probably filming limitations and things like that, timescales and that. But they could have extended that to a longer, more than 6 episodes.
They probably could, but I mean, you've got to think there's money involved, and budgets and time availability for actors, etc. If you've read any of the interviews, Neil Gaiman's very open about it. A lot of people said it couldn't be done. Even Terry Pratchett had his reservations about whether you could actually do it. So for him to come out with these 6 episodes of this quality, this engaging, he's pulled off a minor miracle there.
I think so, and honestly, the whole thing, I just, it's very, very British. It's it's so English. You can't mistake it. It is very, very British. Humour, acting, everything about it. There's no little hint of Americanization in it.
Well, other than the Angel Gabriel, but I think that casting was just
that was perfect. It was so like your typical, that if you was ever going to imagine what heaven was going to be like, it was an Apple store.
Oh yes.
Yeah, it was so like, and it was so like that embodiment of an Apple store and clean cut and suits and.
Sorry, Conway's just asked what show we're talking about. We're just talking about the Good Omens adaptation that's currently on Amazon Prime and will be coming to BBC later in the year.
Is it coming to BBC?
It's coming to BBC. It was a joint partnership, so it'll be on BBC One, no doubt.
Yeah,
I would hope so, because this deserves to be seen by a lot more people.
Oh yeah, you're not kidding. It's honestly, I was in. It's been one of the best highlights so far this year for a series for me. It
No,
really has. It's sort of like, I'm not going to give any spoilers whatsoever, but I didn't want it to end.
no, I was. There was a feeling of loss because I binge watched it. Friday it was released. I was up till 3-4 in the morning watching that. So yeah.
And each episode is an hour long, so it's 6 hours long.
Oh yes.
And then obviously the extras as well.
Oh, you can't not.
I want
have
his
it.
car. I want that car.
The Bentley.
Yeah. That car is ace. But I thought it was so like little quirks like the M25 and how the M25 came about. And it was so like I love it. It was them little tiny tweaks that they'd done with the storyline, and it was so like, well, this is. You think the M25 was no. This is why the M25 is like it is. It's like it's so cool.
The bit I was worried about was how they were going to do it when the demons from hell realise what Crawley's up to. And there's a very specific scene, and I won't go into it because Rachel's not seen it. But Terry Pratchett and Neil Gaiman, Gaiman, written it in the book in such a way that your imagination took over. So what the effect of holy water on them was going to be was never described particularly.
Yeah.
And they got it bang on. You know, I mean, I'm a little gore hound anyway. So thank you for that, Alan. If you're enjoying the live, please give us a thumbs up.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Please give us a thumbs up. That would be lovely.
And if you're listening on the podcast and you want to give us a review, please feel free.
Yep, definitely. But it was so like I loved the antidote bits, you know, right at the beginning how we all got it all wrong about the Big Bang and all that lot. I thought that was so clever as well.
God, yeah.
It was just all those little narratives that kept on coming in through every bit of it. Then obviously you got I forget her name, who predicted the future.
Agnes Nutter.
Yeah, Agnes Nutter. I would have loved to have seen a bit more about her.
To be honest, in the original book, there isn't. She's a running theme, but there's only that one particular bit where Newton Pulsifer's ancestor, where she actually gets any sort of real character build up. It's cracking stuff, really was. If you were going to pay a homage to a book, yeah, or the author, I mean, sadly Terry Pratchett's no longer with us.
Yeah, no.
That was a way of doing it.
It was just so cool. Honestly, I was enthralled all the way through. It was so like, I want more. It was just, this is my world. I love it.
Well, I mean, when you look at Pyramids, which is a Pratchett book set in Discworld, but it's pretty much a standalone story. That, for me, I'd love to see Neil Gaiman do that. Because I really do think he would do it justice. And it's a very similar sort of anti-hero premise. Yeah. Which is what I loved about Crowley and Azrael.
Me personally, like I said, I would love to see more of them two. I mean, the mini adventures that them two could have. Absolutely brilliant. Very reminded me of, what's his name? Thing Hopkins. One was a ghost.
Oh, Randall and Hopkirk.
Yeah, very much that tongue-in-cheeky thing going off.
Oh, yeah.
And I thought, because obviously you've got a demon and you've got an angel, and they're sort of like never the twain should meet anyway. But they was together right at the beginning, and they'd got this history behind them and everything. It was sort of like there was both a little bit good and there was both a little bit bad, weren't they?
Well, this is it. I mean, I think it was. If you looked at the flashbacks, it probably wasn't as clear cut as that. So it was almost like the whole idea was there was heaven, there was hell, and then there was us in between. And they were more like us the longer they spent down here.
Yeah.
Which I thought was a cracking idea. Yeah.
I just loved it.
I would imagine there's. Afternoon, Lloyd. Apparently he loved this world but couldn't get a grasp of Good Omens.
Interesting.
Bill's just said Neil Gaiman's got a warped and disturbed mind. I hope he sees that because he'll be laughing his socks off and agreeing with you.
But I don't know about you, but didn't it have aspects of Gillian in it? As in Terry Gillian?
That sort of sense of humour. I think that's more the Pratchett influence. I mean, but if you look at Gaiman's solo stuff, the Gaiman solo... Gaiman, why am I saying Gaiman? Gaiman. His solo stuff, that sort of very dark humour runs all the way through it. You know, Neverwhere, the Graveyard book. You know, there's all sorts of little bits. Coraline. Have you ever seen the film Coraline? You know,
I haven't, no.
It's like puppets, but it's based on a little girl and her parents, and it all gets very interdimensional and very weird. But that's probably one of the most famous adaptations of Gaiman's work. Yet very few people realise it's actually him.
Really? Surprising, isn't it? Yeah. But he's definitely got that Terry Gilliam world. It's all that Monty Python. He's got all that esque. Like I said at the beginning, he's very, very British.
Oh yeah.
Very. And I honestly, from start to finish, I thoroughly enjoyed it. We're doing well not doing any spoilers here.
I'm doing my best because I don't want Rachel coming after me, even if she has got a gammy ankle, because I reckon she'd do me some harm. Oh, apparently she tried to get the eldest to read some Terry Pratchett, this is Rachel, but she couldn't get on with them. Maybe the full-blown Discworld can be a bit much. Try Strata or Dark Side of the Moon. They were specifically written for teenagers. They are just as funny. I mean, I read them to Firstborn when... Rachel's just said she appreciates it. Bless her.
Oh, bless. Well, when we do talk about things like this, we do try not to do spoilers, but obviously we've got to talk about it because we were so...
It's like being back at school, isn't it? Do you remember when Red Dwarf first came out?
Oh, yeah.
And
even Quantum Leap, it was like next day you were talking about it.
Oh, I wish I had the memory back then, because I used to go into school, into classroom, and you knew you'd all watched it, and you were just repeating line for line for line.
I mean, I don't know about you, but spitting image was a bit of a no-no in our household. You was like, no, you can't watch them. No, you can't watch. Oh, God, yeah, and young ones as well.
Oh, yes. Spitting image was bread and milk. It really was. You know, I think mum and dad would have probably been mortified, but I'm sort of watching it on black and white telly in my bedroom. So.
Yeah.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah, but you had to do it at school. It was one of those things. It was so like... Because obviously we never had the internet, we never had anything like that, and obviously dark nights you obviously had to be in. I mean, when it was summertime you'd be out and things like that with your mates. But it was that connection. Oh, you both watched it, and it was sort of like that humorous same connection.
Oh, you ain't kidding. I think half of it was you could spot the weirdos, because the weirdos hadn't been watching the programmes you had. So while the rest of you were all laughing your head off, yeah. And I know that sounds a very strange thing to say, but when you're at school, you know what it's like. You hang around with people that you relate to.
Yeah, you end up with your clang. Oh, not the 9 o'clock news. Oh, that was brilliant, that.
That was superb, but it was a thing of its time because you'd never get away with showing it now.
No, you wouldn't, no. I always used to like the one with the gorilla. Gerald the gorilla. And he was so like...
Oh, the Rowan Atkinson character, yeah?
It was that bit. He goes, when we picked you up out of the jungle, you was wild. He goes, wild? I was furious. What was it? Listening to When a Child is Johnny Mathis at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Bill's just mentioned the Mary Whitehouse experience.
Oh, we used to love that. Absolutely. See that puddle of pee? That's you. That's your swimming pool, that is.
No. And of course, Jarvis.
Oh, Jarvis.
God.
Hello.
Sarah, you want to beat the ruling classes, you say? Old Milky as well.
Oh, Milky.
That just sounded so wrong at the time, and it still does. It didn't get any better. I actually saw Mary Whitehouse Experience live.
Well, I remember when Mary Whitehouse Experience came out, it wasn't on television originally, it was on radio. And a lot of people didn't know it was on radio until, obviously, the television series.
But Dead Ringers started out the same way.
Yeah, exactly, same way, yeah.
Oh. No, Rachel's getting more book advice. What's Bill just suggested? Young ones should be required viewing. Even now, I agree completely, mate. The young ones, that was the original, wasn't it? That was nothing. There'd been nothing like the young ones on
Oh, God,
TV.
no. I mean, it was a time, wasn't it, that what there was classing as alternative comedy, wasn't it? Because it was so like, as we was growing up, it was basically the comedians, wasn't it? That was the kind of light
Bernard
entertainment.
Matthews.
Yeah, the light entertainment comedian. That's all we ever got. And people like your Rowan Atkins, Smith and Jones, Saunders. Forgot her name now. French and Saunders, people like that, and then obviously you got the young ones and like things like that. It was Ben Elton, obviously, because he wrote it. It was at that time when things were slightly changing. I used to leave the girlfriend.
I was just reading Stu's. They used to sneak and watch at OTT on the black and white portable with the sound turned right down. Real boobies on TV. The balloon dance. There'd be nothing like that either.
No. I still say that it was people like the Kenny Everett show that started alternative comedy.
It was, but when I was younger, I obviously didn't realise what Kenny Everett's sexuality was or anything like that. So it didn't bother me, and it was just so funny. It was so anarchic. But when you look back now, I mean, like Captain Kremen, the cartoon, that was just so tongue in cheek.
Oh yeah.
And then you've got Cupid Stunt, the actress.
Yes, Miss Possible, please. And Sid Snot. Don't forget Sid Snot.
The ultimate anti-hero, bless him, Sid. Gizzard Puke.
Gizzard Puke. Yeah.
The mime, Marcel.
Oh, Marcel. That used to fascinate me as a kid, that. But it was the actual starting point of alternative comedy. When you start looking at it. I mean, then obviously we got, like we were saying, the young ones and things like that. It was that progression of changing from your box standard light entertainment. There were 3 men in a pub. Oh, the mother-in-law jokes, and it really did break away from that.
I think, yeah, but I mean, if you look at the likes of Mike Harding back in the 70s and Jasper.
Oh, Jasper.
The seeds were there.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I mean, Mike Harding's, you could, some of his bawdier bits, you could have sort of slipped into an episode of The Young Ones, and I don't think they'd have been out of place. You know, I remember watching the party episode where Rick's character gets the tampon out of the bag. That was the ultimate taboo. You know, I'm a schoolboy, and no, you shall not talk of these things. What was the other one? The Hale and Pace. Their first appearance was, or the first TV appearance, I believe, was on The Young Ones.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me.
They played the village idiots. Do you remember the two that were sat on the tree going, I bet in 5 minutes both my legs will fall off.
Hello, Johnny. Hello, Billy.
Orion's has just brought it right up. Pete and Dud.
Oh, God, yeah.
You know, Dudley Moore and Peter Cook. If they'd not done... Was it Clive and Derek, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Derek and Clive. I think if those hadn't hit, comedy would have a very different face now. Because, I mean, at the time, that was something so out there. You know, that sort of level of filth was normally reserved for the strippers in the back pubs on a Sunday, you know.
And then you had people like Spike Milligan, which was just on another plateau of existence.
Oh, he was brilliant.
I mean, what was it? Some
Q.
Q, that were it, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Q was weird.
It's bloody funny, though.
Oh, God, yeah, funny as hell, but blooming heck, that was weird. I mean, that was serious weird. But saying that, talking about Spike Milligan, do you know what I loved about Spike Milligan? He came out with a story, it was a documentary he was doing, and what he did for his kids, from them being tiny until they was all growing up, he used to write little notes and leave them at the bottom of the garden, pretending that it was a fairy that was talking to him. And I thought that was so lovely. So he'd write these little notes and put them down at the bottom of the garden for his kids to find them. And the children thought it was a fairy. It was like, oh, it's so cute.
I mean, if you've watched the documentaries and the various bits, tributes to Spike, a lot of people say he was always more interested in kids. You know,
that doesn't sound good, does it?
Because he had this child. He was a kid that never grew up himself.
Yeah.
So he always loved being around children and playing with children and all the rest of it. And that some of it was why he was so grumpy and distant with adults, because he just couldn't relate. You know, I mean, what a guy. He was superb. He really was. I mean, I remember as a teenager reading his war memoirs.
Oh, Gunnar Milligan and all that lot. That's
oh, yeah. Adolf Hitler, My Part in His Downfall, Rommel, Gunnar Who, Where Have All the Bullets Gone?
Yeah.
Which was probably the closest one to a biography that you were going to get, because it sort of dealt with his shell shock and all the rest of it. But as a kid, you know, you'd heard all the war stories, you've seen the films, the Dirty Dozen, all the rest of it, and then Spike comes along and shows you this world of sort of insubordination and lots of hanky-panky and things like that. Another
one Ryan's just brought up, Goodies.
Oh,
goody,
yum, yum. Ecky Thumb. My favourite episode. Black Pudding Bertha.
Which was the one with the big cat?
Oh, that was where it knocked over the LWT tower. I think that's when they actually were with LWT. Because it moved, didn't it? It went from Yorkshire to BBC.
Yeah.
But, and the Nicholas Parsons, that was the Panto episode, because it had the Nicholas Parsons and the egg-laying goose that dropped grenades instead of golden eggs. Oh, man. But there was something very strange about the goodies as well. I mean, that would always seem to be... When you were a kid, it always seemed a lot naughtier.
Yeah, it was. It was a lot naughtier when you were a kid.
Yeah,
But I mean, we're talking about them. But when you go back to sort of like the young ones and things like that, that was a totally different... Is it because of sort of like how you remember it, or is it because of actually the time period that it was actually there?
Well, I mean, if you look at it, there was the anarchic humour. It was touching on things that, to you as a school kid, you just didn't talk about.
No.
And then it brought in the likes of Motorhead and Madness and all the rest of it, all into the same programme. I mean, come on. The University Challenge episode.
Oh, God, that was brilliant.
What happens if I stick my head out of here?
I love the video. The video. Yes, we're going to watch another video.
Or the Cinderella one.
Oh, boy, yeah.
Mike dressed up as Prince Charming.
When were it Vivian? When he's writing to Echo and the Bunnyman. Dear Mr. Echo. Oh, God, happy days.
Is that right, Namby? Did you do Disney nasty?
And not the good life. Not the bloody good life. Happy days.
Oil as well. Viva el Presidente! Oh, man.
Mike, yeah, Bill, why won't this bomb go off with this sledgehammer? I can remember it. Oh, dear God.
The only sort of bit about the young ones that used to miss me was Alexei Sale. I hated him with a passion.
He was the landlord, wasn't he?
Yeah. I just couldn't get on with Alexei Sale. Still can't. Hello, John, got a new motor.
Hello, John, got a new motor.
It's like hearing fingernails being dragged across a blackboard for me.
That one, and which one was that? What was his name now? Same period, singer. And it's not fair, it's not right, it's not nice.
Oh, Jilty John.
Jilty John.
Oh,
that used to wind me up as... What song were it called?
Jilty John.
No, Thingy is a moron.
The song was called Jilty John by Jilty John.
Oh, God, yeah. I hated that.
You know, I'm trying to think what he's called. He's still around.
Is he?
The guy who was in Jilty John. You know the guy that plays the comedian that plays the Casio keyboard? He's got a very sort of elderly... I'm trying to think what he's called. 2 secs. More Google Foo on the way.
He's probably an MP now for Somerset or something like that now.
No, he is an entertainer still. Jilty John... Here we are, band. Right, Jilty John, Graham Fellows, who now plays, I think it's Count Arthur. Graham Fellows, so he's done John Shuttleworth. And his newer character, John Shuttleworth.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, that's Jilty John.
Is it? Blooming heck, I never knew that.
So,
still didn't like that song.
I can't stand John Shuttleworth, but I love the song. He's local, I don't know. Graham Fellows is from Sheffield.
It's surprising, that, isn't it? Right, we are coming up. We have already gone past the hour already. I can't believe that.
We can't have. We haven't done the safety bit yet.
We haven't even touched the safety bit.
You That's you bringing up Good Omens, that is.
Yeah, that's it. Well, random. I like these random ones where you sometimes don't need to have a subject matter.
So let's give it the last 10 minutes. Yeah. So Orion's has just brought 2 pints of lager and a packet of crisps, which I thought was brilliant as well.
Do you know what song I've got in my head now? Sticker. What was it? Sticker, chicken in the air. Could that cheer up your nose?
That chair sound from Spitting Image. Oh, Bill Bailey, that's another good choice.
Do you know something? Bill Bailey is such an amazing character. He really is. And musician, he is absolutely brilliant.
Oh, you're not kidding. I was amazed. I didn't realise how good he was. I think it was one of the interview shows. They got him up on stage actually playing. And he blew me away. I mean, let's be right though. He does look like a dodgier Rick Wakeman, doesn't he? He's got that
but he is that good though.
Oh, he is.
He really is. I mean, I remember seeing him. Way back, 80s. Must have been 80s when I first saw him. You know, late 80s, 88, 89, somewhere around there.
Yeah. I think Orion's left us for his lunch.
He's going for dinner. He's going for dinner. He's going to have the standard dinner.
Oh, don't. I've got Toad and Homecoming later. Oh.
Do you need cream for that, sir?
How dare you, sir?
You're going to have a little toad in your home.
I'll have you know I'm a batter master, dear boy. A master.
And what you going to finish it off with? Spotted dick.
Yes, with lots of creamy custard. Oh, God.
Right, on that note, I just want to give a big, big shout out to everybody in chat. Thank you very much for joining us on this first, number 8, but number 1 of the live show of Tales from the Ohm. Thank you very, very much. Steve, it's been absolutely brilliant. I think we can definitely carry this one on a lot longer, don't you?
Oh, yes. I mean, if we do another live one, please, folks in the show, saying thank you, mate. I can't read that out, ladies and gentlemen, in podcast land because it was rude.
It was very rude.
It was rude. Frog in the pit. Thanks, Timmy. If we do another live one, I would love to see some more questions from chat. So. Yeah, we'll give you plenty of notice, and you can get your questions up.
That'd be awesome. That I like this nice and relaxed version of the live show. It's nice and chilled, and let's just shoot the chill, and
Bless you. Right, well, should we start winding then? Thank you. Oh, cheers, Gav. Apparently Gav prefers this, to be honest.
Oh, awesome.
That's good to know. Yeah. Thanks, Gav. For everybody that's joined us in chat this afternoon, really, really appreciate it. Oh, you prefer it to the podcast? You like seeing the people talking? Gav, I'm too ugly. Okay. We can't do this to people every week. Gordon Bennett, they'll be screaming.
Oh, bless.
To everybody that's joined us, thank you so much. It really has made this such a cracking show. I bet it sounds mad in the podcast as well. Gav, there was no need for that. That's the one drawback. Cheeky boy.
Cheeky boy.
Cheeky. Oh. What's that? I like to see people talking also, except BFG and Mark. At least put a mask on. Very rude. There's no need for this. Well, if you've enjoyed it, Rachel, if you've really enjoyed the live version, I'm sure we can be talked into this again. It's been,
Yes,
it's been a blast, hasn't it?
Yeah, of course it has. I've thoroughly enjoyed it.
I can't believe we went so far off the rails, Mike.
But that's the whole idea. I mean, let's face it, that's the whole idea of this podcast originally. It was that we weren't going to just talk about vaping. Vaping was a part of it, but it was sort of like we wanted to talk more about stuff that we're into, like music, films, TV programs, and
OTT.
Yeah, and general stuff. We didn't want to just... Because, let's face it, we've got to be right about this. There's a lot of vape shows out there at the present moment, all talking about very, very similar subject matter, very similar themes and things like that. So we wanted to just be... You can actually blame my wife for this, totally. Me and Steve had come down to my house and we were sat talking, and we was talking like we have done today, just general chit-chatting about films. We got into Clive Barker, we was talking about Hellraiser and all that kind of stuff, and then that got into comics and all the bits and pieces, and we didn't realise how much we had in actual common. And it was Jan that turned around and said, you know something, that had been a good podcast, that. So that's you can thank Jan for that.
Oh, she's a keeper, Mark.
Oh, she's
a keeper,
definitely
wonderful woman. And for those who don't know, Mark celebrated his 21st anniversary.
21st, yeah. Been married 21 years, yeah.
She'd have got less time for stabbing you.
I know.
Don't let her ever hear that. But as Bill just said, vapors do have to let their hair down too. Unfortunately, I was late to vaping, so therefore I've got no hair.
That we can see.
I leave the coiffured locks to you, dear boy.
Oh, bless you.
Right, well, we'll try again. Chat, thank you so much for joining us. It's been a real blast to just to chew the fat with you this afternoon. I hope you've enjoyed it. There will be more. Hopefully the technical issues will be sorted out next time as well.
To be honest with you, sound's not been too bad, to be honest with you. It's a lot better than it was prior to us going live.
No, that's a good job, because I just couldn't face it, darling. No, hissy fit. On that, I'd just like to say thank you to you all, and you can catch us on SoundCloud, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts,
Spotify,
Anchor FM, Spotify, Player FM. If you want to catch the recording. For those live, thank you for joining us, and I'll hand over to Mark.
Thank you very much, and we will see you probably next week. Maybe not next week, maybe the week after, because next week is Father's Day, if I remember rightly, on Sunday. So, yes. So, won't be here next week, but we will be back to normal the week after. So, if you are wanting to see more of us live, give us some feedback and let us know what you think. If you're actually interested in us being live, and obviously the podcast as well, so obviously we'll record that onto the podcast. But if you'd like to see us live on a Sunday afternoon, same time, roughly about 2 o'clock while 3, let us know. Let us know in the comments section if you're all up for that one. And we will endeavour to try and make that happen. Thanks ever so much for watching. Thank you, Steve. It's been awesome as always.
Thanks, mate.
And chat, thank you. Right, you're going to say goodbye?
Bye! Oh, blimey. I'm managing that. Have the secretary, no problem.